Hello, I'm Marianne Fields, Development Director at Old State House Museum, and today we're talking about presidents that visited Arkansas. And with me is Revis Edmonds, our historian. And tell me about Nixon in this big game, the game of the century.
Well, one thing a lot of people knew at the time, but probably have forgotten about Nixon. Nixon was probably, among a lot of things, the country's #1 sports fan. Well, in 1969, we're looking at a time when Arkansas is still playing in the old Southwest Conference, and the big rival is always Texas. It's not a beat Texas week, it's hate Texas week. So in that particular year, Arkansas and Texas are swapping back and forth the #1 and #2 rankings in college football. One of those teams was going to be the national champion. And it all came to Fayetteville that fall. The game of the century, so America's #1 fan, Richard Nixon, he helicopters into Fayetteville and goes into Razorback Stadium. And it's not a case where you've got a special presidential box with tight security and all this stuff. No. President Nixon sat in the general admissions section of the stands, along with the entourage that surrounded him that day. One of them were Congressman John Paul Hammerschmidt, who helped arrange the visit, Governor Winthrop Rockefeller, Senators John McClellan and J. William Fulbright, a young Congressman George Bush, and another young congressman named Jim Wright, who would be Speaker of the House. So, of course, the game ended in a heartbreaking defeat for Arkansas, 15-14. I mean, you want to cry, that kind of defeat. And President Nixon had already agreed to present the championship trophy for that game and do a locker room visit with the winning team. And of course, he did so with the Texas Longhorns. But he was so moved at how hard the Razorbacks played, and just, it had to have crushed the team that after he finished with the Longhorns, he went to the Razorback locker room.
Well, I'm so proud he did that.
To help buck up the team, and of course, had glowing words for Coach Brawls, and it was, long remembered by the players that day that the president would think of them that way.
This has been a conversation in the gallery featuring our presidents that visited Arkansas. If you want to know more, there are many more stories in blogs on our website, www.oldstatehouse.com. We hope to see you again in Conversation in the Gallery.